Hello everyone, good morning. I welcome you all for today's session. And in today's session, I am back with problems on Mohr circle. Right? So without wasting much of the time, let me start with the first problem on Mohr circle. So I have listed the problem for you. Let us go through the statement. An element is subjected to the stresses as shown in the figure below. Using Mohr circle, determine the maximum and minimum stresses and the orientation of their planes. Stress acting on a plane whose normally is at an angle of 35 degrees with respect to x-axis. Right? So this is the diagram what he has given. This is the diagram what he has given. Right? So sigma x is 105 MPa and tau xy is 50 MPa. Now here, before I could proceed to draw the Mohr circle, first I should write what is the angle of this oblique plane with respect to my reference plane. So first, in order to do that, I should decide which is my reference plane. Right? So in this problem, I have considered this vertical face, which I have shown here as my reference plane. Right? So this vertical face is my reference plane. Now, we have already studied that when a normal on the oblique is making an angle of 35 degree with respect to x-axis, then this angle is also 35 degrees. Right? So to know how, you need to watch our previous videos which I have solved using analytical method. Right? I don't want to waste time telling how I have done this. Reason, this problem is a bit lengthy, and that is the reason we should start with the problem without wasting much of the time. Right? So I request you to watch my previous videos so that you will get to know how this angle becomes 35 when this angle is 35. Right? So first I have listed what all things are to be found out. According to my first point in the question, I have been asked to find out the principal stresses and the location of principal stresses. Also, I have been asked to find out the magnitude of maximum and minimum shear stress and the location of shear stresses. And in my second bit, I have been asked to find out the normal stress and shear stress which will be acting on the oblique plane. Right? So with this backdrop, let us start with drawing of the Mohr circle. So to start with, first I should check out what is the maximum value of stress given to me in the problem. So if I just check out the problem statement, I'll get to know that sigma x is equal to 105 MPa, that is the maximum value of normal stress, and one more stress which is known to me is tau xy, which is 50 MPa. And the sign is also important. Sigma x as given to me in the problem is tensile in nature, so it is positive, and tau xy when I compare it with my reference plane, it is trying to rotate my reference plane. In clockwise direction. That is the reason what I say is it is positive in nature. So both tensile stress as well as shear stress are positive. Right? So with this, let me start with drawing of the Mohr circle. Right? So in order to draw the Mohr circle, we know that the x-axis, the normal x-axis becomes our sigma n, and y-axis becomes our shear stress axis. Right? So I know that the maximum value of sigma x, which is in the x direction, is 105 MPa, and it is positive in nature. Right? So with this knowledge, let me draw okay. So I have taken a line, and along this direction it is tau axis. Right? Then I also need to draw one axis along the horizontal along the horizontal. So I'll just draw it here along the horizontal. So let me draw it here. Okay, and this I call it as sigma n axis, sigma n axis, right? So this is the axis which is representing the normal stress. This is the axis which is representing the shear stress. So this I take it as point O, which is nothing but origin, point O, which is origin. So now let me mark the state of stress on plane A and plane B, In order to mark that, I should know what are the coordinates. Okay, so let me check out what are the coordinates of this plane, that is this one. Now what is this stress which is acting in this direction? It is same as 105. So it is 105 comma shear stress. This shear stress is trying to rotate. Try to understand, this shear stress which is along the reference plane, is trying to rotate the reference plane in clockwise direction. This shear stress which is along this reference plane is trying to rotate this reference plane in clockwise direction. So it is taken as positive. So it is 50. Right, so these are the coordinates of point A, or you can say plane A. Now in the same way, let me take the coordinates of plane B. Right, so there is no normal stress acting, so it becomes 0. Normal stress acting becomes 0, whereas shear stress, it is acting in this direction, right, in this direction. Now this is the direction which is trying to rotate the reference plane in anti-clockwise direction. Now this shear stress is making anti-clockwise direction with respect to this reference plane. So whenever there is an anti-clockwise direction, I take it as negative. So it is minus 50. Right? So the coordinates of A are 105 and 50, and coordinates of B are 0 and minus 50. First coordinate indicates normal stress, second coordinates indicate shear stress. So with this knowledge, let us go to the graph and plot these values. Okay, so let us plot point A or plane A, whose coordinates are 105 and 50. In order to plot that, first I need to take a scale. I need to assume a scale. So what scale I will be assuming here is, I will be assuming a scale. So that scale I will be writing it here. Scale assumed is 1 MPa is equal to 1 MPa is equal to 1 mm. 1 MPa is equal to 1 mm. This is the scale I have assumed. So how you are going to decide this? This you are going to decide depending upon what is the maximum value of stress you are having in the problem. Right? So now I will be marking point A, or you can say it is the state of stress on plane A. So the coordinates are 105 and 50. Right? So in this direction, since 105 is positive, I will be marking 10.5, which gives me 105, and in this direction, which is positive, I need to mark 50, so which is 50 mm, which is 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter, right? Okay, so I have marked a point. So let me mark it correctly. because if I go wrong, the entire problem will be wrong. Let me check it whether it is in line with this, right? So yes, so this is the point which is required. So this I call it as point A or plane A. Similarly, I will be marking the coordinates of plane B, which is 0 comma minus 50. So 0 comma minus 50, this is 0, and minus 50 is shear stress. So in order to mark minus 50, I need to go down. On this axis, I need to mark minus 50 is nothing but 5 centimeters. 5 centimeters, right? So that is the value required. So I'll mark it here. This is the point. So the coordinates here are 0 comma minus 50, and the coordinates here at A are 105 comma 50. 105 comma 50, right? So what I have done, the two planes, I have represented the two planes in the form of two coordinates A and B. You can call this as point B or plane B, right? Now I need to join these 2 points. So I'll join these 2 points. Let me join these 2 points. Okay, so just join these 2 points with the help of a straight line. Okay, once if this is done, now you mark the center. Center is the point where this line AB is intersecting with sigma n axis. That is, okay, we need to mark the center. Once if you have marked the center, then you require to draw a circle using this as the radius. Now this point, I call it as point C. C is nothing but center, right? Using this as the radius, BC as the radius or AC as the radius, you need to draw a circle using right? Fine. So I have drawn the circle. Be careful while drawing the circle, right? Now, so this circle I call it as Mohr circle. So the first step what you need to do once if you draw this circle is to join these points. You just join these points, right? So here A, B, C, we can take this point as point number D. Fine. Now let us go on marking things, what all things we are knowing, right? So first let me mark the principal stresses. Now, what is the definition of a principal stress? Or you can call it as a principal plane. A plane on which shear stress is 0 is called as principal plane. Right? Now in this, check out where shear stress is 0. We'll get to know that anywhere on this horizontal line, shear stress will be equal to 0. All the coordinates on this horizontal line will be having shear stress equal to 0. But in order to find principal stresses, you need to choose those 2 points where the circle is going to intersect the normal stress axis. I repeat, in order to choose the principal stresses, you need to choose those 2 points where the circle is going to intersect the sigma n axis. So which are those? So this is one point, this is the second point. Right? Now let us check out the magnitudes. Let us check out the magnitudes. So in order to check out the magnitudes, what I'll do, I'll just take a horizontal and mark it first. I'll just take a horizontal and mark this first. Right? Now this distance, okay, so this distance I call it as sigma 1. I call it as sigma 1, which is my major principal stress. Why this is major? Because from origin this distance is more. This distance is more when compared to this distance. Right? That is the reason this becomes major and this becomes minor. Right? Similarly, I will just drop a perpendicular here. Right? And if I just mark the stresses over here, right, so this is sigma 2. So I am done with sigma 1 and sigma 2. So it is A, B, C, D. I will take this point as point E and I will take this as point F. Right? So after marking sigma 1 and sigma 2, now I need to mark an oblique plane. How we are going to mark that oblique plane? In order to mark that oblique plane, you need to consider the reference plane. So if I go back, let me check out what was my reference plane. Okay, now you can check it here. My reference plane is A. Right? So from A, I need to draw this oblique plane. In order to draw this oblique plane from this plane A, initially it was here. Now if I rotate this in this direction, I will arrive at oblique plane. So what is this direction? This direction is anti-clockwise. So from plane A in anti-clockwise direction, I need to mark 2 theta. This is theta, but as we have already discussed, all the angles which I mark at the center of the Mohr circle will be 2 times. Right? So from point A in anti-clockwise direction, I need to mark 2 theta. Okay. So from reference plane, A is my reference plane. From this in anti-clockwise direction, I need to mark 2 theta. Theta is 35, so 2 theta is 70. So from this, I need to mark a point at 70 degrees. Right? I need to mark a point at 70 degrees. Now this I call it as oblique plane. This plane I call it as oblique plane. Now I'll be marking it with a different color. Right? So this is oblique plane. Right? Oblique plane. Now I'll just give one coordinate here. So it is A, B, C, D, E, F. I'll call it as G. Right? Now here G is nothing but oblique plane. I'm not going to write it. Now A is reference. Right? A is reference plane. Now from this A, I have drawn this oblique plane right here, oblique plane, right, just to avoid confusion. Now this angle I call it as 2 theta. This angle I call it as 2 theta. This angle in anti-clockwise direction, it is 2 theta, right? Now after drawing this oblique plane, I have already located the principal stresses. Now let me locate the location. Okay, I have already known the magnitudes of principal stresses. If I measure this and if I measure this, it gives me the magnitude. In order to know the location, I need to locate 2 theta P1 and 2 theta P2. How I am going to do it? I am going to do it with respect to my reference plane. With respect to my reference plane. Right? So with respect to the reference plane, A is my reference plane and point E is sigma 1. Point E is sigma 1. So this angle in this direction, mark the directions, it is important. In this direction it is 2 theta P1. 2 theta P1. Similarly, this is first principal plane, major principal plane. From the same reference point or the same reference plane, I need to go for second principal stress, which is sigma 2, that lies on CF, right? So this is this angle in this direction. So this is 2 theta P2, 2 theta P2, right? So that is the angle. Now let us proceed further and check out what are the maximum shear stresses and what are its location. In order to note the maximum shear stresses, so as already discussed in the theory class, I need to draw a line from the center such that it touches the periphery, right? So I'll just draw this dotted line. Right, so this dotted line gives me the magnitude of maximum shear stress. So here at this point, at the lower extreme at this, I have taken point G. I'll take this as H. So H is tau minimum. H is tau minimum, and here I'll take this as point I. It is tau maximum. So it is maximum shear stress. So if you want to represent it, you can do it on the left hand side. Don't take everything into the circle because it will be confusing. So what I can do here is I'll just project it onto this axis, right? Projected into this axis. So this distance is tau max, right? Similarly on the other side, this distance will be tau minimum. On the other side value will be same. On this side, once again you just take a perpendicular from this point and you mark it. So this distance is tau minimum, right? So this distance is tau minimum. Now once I have located the maximum and minimum shear stresses, right, I showed you which is maximum and which is minimum. Positive value is maximum, same side negative value is minimum. I need to locate these with respect to my reference plane. So how we are going to do that? In order to do that, I'll be using a different ink, right, just to avoid confusion. So with respect to the reference plane, this angle in this direction, I call it as 2 theta S1, shear stress 1, maximum shear stress S, and this angle I call it as, this angle with respect to plane A in this direction, I call it as 2 theta S2, right? So once if all these markings are done, now the next thing is just to calculate and give you the answers. Right? Now in order to do that, first let me start with the first point, that is measuring of principal stresses. So let us go through how to measure this and how we are going to calculate and how we are going to convert, right? Now in order to check what is the value of sigma 1, you can just check it here. So value of sigma 1, if I am just checking it, so it is giving me somewhere around 12.4. value of sigma 1 is 12.4. so value of sigma 1 is 12.4. okay, I'll be writing things here on this sheet. Value of sigma 1 is 12.4 mm, right? 12.4 mm. Right? 12.4, it is centimeter, 12.4 centimeter. So it gives me 12.4 into 10, that is 124 mm. So if you just look back to our scale, our scale is 1 MPa is equal to 1 mm. So therefore value of sigma 1 is 124 MPa. 124 MPa. Right? Now similarly, let us check out the value of sigma 2. Right? So let us check out the value of sigma 2. So the value of sigma 2 is coming out to be 2 centimeters. Value of sigma 2 is coming out to be 2 centimeters. So if it is 2 centimeters, then we need to convert it into mm. So sigma 2 is 2 centimeters. So that is 20 mm. So therefore sigma 2 is equal to 20 MPa. So these are the values of sigma 1 and sigma 2, right? So now let us calculate 2 theta p1 and 2 theta p2. Let me calculate those two values. So if I just calculate 2 theta p1 with respect to this reference plane, right? So it is giving me 44 degrees. And if I calculate 2 theta p2, it will be plus 180. Why plus 180? Because up to this point it is 2 theta p1 and this angle is 180, right? So let me write the values of 2 theta p1 and 2 theta. Okay, so according to our protractor value, I am getting 2 theta p1 as 44 degrees. So therefore theta p1 is equal to 22 degrees and 2 theta p2 will be equal to 2 theta p1 plus 180 degrees. So 2 theta p2 will be equal to how much? 44 plus 180. 44 plus 180. So it gives me 44 plus 180. So it is 224 degrees. So therefore theta p2 will be equal to, divided by 2, 11 theta p2 will be equal to, theta p2 will be equal to 224 divided by 2, that is 112 degrees. 112 degrees. Right? So 112 degrees. Now, after locating theta p1 and theta p2, let us go for third point. Which I need to calculate, that is maximum and minimum shear stresses and location of shear stresses. So let us calculate the maximum shear stress. I need to measure this, which is the tau max, and I need to convert it by using our scale, right? So if I just measure it, it is coming out to be 73, right? 73 mm or 7.3 centimeters. Next, similarly, I also need to calculate 2 theta s1, right? So 2 theta s1 with respect to reference plane, 2 theta s1 with respect to reference plane. So 2 theta s1 with respect to reference plane is giving me, minus 46, because it is anti-clockwise. I am taking it as minus 46 degrees. Okay, so tau max was 7.3 centimeters, which was 73 mm. So therefore value of tau max is 73 MPa. Similarly, tau minimum will be of equal magnitude but of negative sign, that is minus 73 MPa. Now, in order to locate these two stresses, I have calculated 2 theta s1 with respect to the reference plane, and I told you, we just saw it that it is 46 degrees, right, with a negative sign, because it is anti-clockwise with respect to reference plane, right? So therefore theta s1 is equal to minus 23 degrees. Now let me check out what is the value of theta s2. So for that I need to know what is 2 theta s2. So let me measure this. So if I just measure tau minimum for getting 2 theta s2 with respect to this A, I am getting it as 134 degrees, and it is positive because it is in clockwise direction. 134 degrees. So 2 theta s2 is 134 degrees, which is clockwise. Therefore theta s2 will be 134 divided by 2. So it is 67 degrees, and it is positive value, right? So we are done with the first point. Next I need to find out sigma n and tau on oblique plane. So in order to find sigma n and tau, once again I need to go for the Mohr circle and measure things, right? So here theta s2 is coming out to be 67 because 2 theta s2 was 134. Now I am going for measuring of sigma n and tau on the oblique plane. So once again I'll get back to my Mohr circle. So in order to note down what is sigma n and tau, I need to make a small construction here, and that I'll be doing it. So that will be joining of this point G with sigma and axis, right? So if I do this, so this value let me mark it with a different color. So this value, okay, so this value gives me tau on the oblique plane, right? And similarly this value, which is in horizontal direction, value of this distance in horizontal direction, gives me sigma n, right? So let me measure and check out what are the values, right? In order to do that, first let me measure sigma n, then I'll be measuring tau. So in order to measure sigma n, let me check out what will be the distance. So sigma n is 25 mm or 2.5 centimeter, and tau is 67, right? So it is 6.7 and that is 2.5. 6.7 and 2.5. Okay, here sigma n is 2.5 centimeter, that is equal to 25 mm. Therefore sigma n comes out to be 25 MPa. And just because it is lying on the right side, of the origin, it is positive in nature. Now similarly tau n or tau is measured as 6.7 centimeter, so that is 67 mm. So therefore value of tau is 67 MPa, right? So I have measured the value of sigma n and tau on an oblique plane, right? So that's it. That is the end of the problem. This was all which you need to calculate. Be careful with the signs, and wherever it is negative, please mention it as negative, right? So that's it for today's session. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.